So what is up, everybody? It is Joe here. It is Friday. It is the 3rd of April. It is the end of the week, if it actually feels like a Friday, which it does not. It feels like the 5th Tuesday in a row. So I am here to talk about RRSPs. It's the COVID campaign for financial awareness. I'm going to be doing this for the next 6 weeks, actually for the next 4 weeks, because it's already been 2 weeks. We're at the end of 2 weeks. 10 episodes, 10 topics. I'm going to go over 20 more topics just to get everything rolling for you. And today's a big day. We're going to be talking about RSPs. A lot of people don't understand RSPs. They don't understand what they are used for or what theirs is even about. And I'm going to give you my simple explanation about what RSPs are and how you can use them. If you're in America, good old America, you are talking about your 401k or your IRA, your individual retirement account. So I want people to fully understand what an RSP is, registered retirement savings plan, and to make sure that they know what they're getting into and why they're getting into it. So as you can see, I am in week 3 of isolation. So I have not seen any friends or any family or anything like that for 3 weeks. It's starting to drive me a bit crazy. I want to get out and play, but we cannot, and we should not. I'm going to go over a little bit more things regarding the COVID-19 virus and what we need to actually prepare for moving forward at the end. But first, let's get into my daily market update. So let's take a quick look. So negative, we are looking at negative, and this is probably what they think is a result of the U.S. market or the U.S. job market slipping. Obviously, jobless claims have gone through the roof. Huge amount of jobless claims have gone through. And that's not even all of them. There's going to be many more. Obviously, a lot of people haven't applied for employment insurance right now. So what we're falling back on is the fact that the markets have dipped specifically because jobless claims have gone up and they will continue to go up. Now, remember when I mentioned to you that we will probably see another dip in the markets? Yes, we will see more dips in the markets as more negative news comes out about the impact of this virus and what it's doing to our economy. But again, we're not panicking. We need to expect that. We need to expect that the markets go up and down over this time. What's up, Kane? How you doing? Go Cowboys. So I want you to understand that this is going to happen. It's going to happen quite often. Yesterday, we saw gains in the market. We're going to give those back. Monday, we could see gains again, and we'll give those back. It's just going to happen. It's going to be a rocky road over the next little bit. I think the majority of the steep declines and the panic that we saw about 2 weeks ago, for a solid 2 weeks, we saw this up, down, crazy panic of the market where we saw a nasty 30% decline. I think that period is done. We won't see massive declines like that. But what we will see is a periodic daily decline as negative news or positive news comes out about the virus. So I want people to understand that this is the road we're going through moving forward. The declines are modest declines on a daily basis and modest gains. So I will answer a quick question on IG first. My man Eric, we're looking at, should we buy stocks now? Well, this is a question from IGTV. Should we buy stocks now? Yes, under one caveat though. If you're going to buy into the market now, stocks or the broader market in general, so the S&P 500, Dow Jones, Toronto Stock Exchange, or individual stocks, what I want people to look for when they're buying individual stocks is actually companies that are rock solid, that have dipped strictly because of the COVID virus. So they're losing money because of the COVID virus, but they will rebound and recover. So you're looking at blue chip stocks like major companies like the banks. Banks in Canada have all dipped. These banks are not going anywhere, but they will take a profit hit, and therefore their stocks have dipped. If you're in America, make sure you're looking at blue chip stocks of ones that have suspended their dividends, so their stock has gone down. A lot of companies are suspending dividends. The reason being is because they're trying to save money, trying to save capital, and trying to save jobs. So they had to choose between suspending a dividend or getting rid of jobs. Now, laying off people in a period like this looks bad. It's a bad image booster for a company. So oftentimes they're suspending the dividend. But therefore, the stock will go down because investors like the dividend. That's why people buy dividend-paying stocks. So I will look at stocks that pay a dividend that will actually continue on after this crisis is over. So look at blue chip stocks. Don't take a flyer on fly-by-night companies that could actually go out of business because of this. You want to make sure that they'll rebound. Now, the one thing, another question is airlines. Airlines, yes, certain airlines will rebound. The smaller ones will actually go under. The biggest thing we need to ask ourselves is, when this is all said and done, will people go back on airplanes? Yes, they will. It might take a while, though. So what I want people to be prepared to do, if you're entering the market right now because it's low, and that's a good thing to do. It's not a bad thing to do. It's a good thing to do. Be prepared to ride it out over the next year, possibly two. I'm not saying you're going to double your money or make it back. This isn't blackjack right away. You will make your money back, but it might take some time. And how are you going to be prepared during that time to actually handle those swings? If you're willing to put some money into the market and not take a look at it or not care about it, or you could look at it but not switch it out over the course of the next 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, even 2 year time, then now's a great time to get in. But at the same time, you got to be prepared for the rocky road, because your emotion during this period will actually dictate your success. And it's going to be a rocky road. This virus is changing everything forever. And how we recover for this, we don't know. We're going to recover from this. We're going to do fine. But it's just a matter of time and how long it takes, and we just don't know that. So be prepared to hold on to your investments for a while if you're entering the market right now. The last thing you want to do is enter at a low point and then leave at an even lower point, right? When they get back to their highest peaks, which they were at about 2 months ago, then you will be laughing. But it could take a while to get back there, and that's what we don't know. So first things first, that's our market update. We see some negativity. We're giving back some of the gains that we got yesterday. A lot of this is based on the job reports. A lot of it's based on oil and whatnot. So what we need to understand is that this is going to happen, and we need to make it through. Do a portfolio review. Adjust your risk tolerance on the aggressive side if you can. So let's just check that out. Make sure that you're not making drastic moves to the conservative side in this if you're in the full equity side. Reason being is because it will cost you in the long run, and you don't want to regret a decision you make now during this crisis when the markets actually rebound. Okay, so I want everyone again to download the combo expenses worksheet. And hundreds of people are downloading this worksheet. Excuse me, it will help you get organized during this period, right? And I want people to come out of this crisis fully mentally prepared to be ready to actually step up their financial game. So when something like this happens again, which it will, hopefully not this drastic, but in our lifetime, we will see periods like this where we have economic declines, where jobs are at stake. This happened in 2008. It's happening again now. We were due. I just didn't think it would come in the form of a pandemic. So what we need to do is actually make sure that our financial house is in order so we can weather these storms. So check out the combo expenses worksheet. That download is it's flying. People are getting that download all the time. Okay, so let's go into RRSPs. So this is a post I released in 2018, and the good thing about releasing 400 posts is I can draw back on some of my posts that I've released over time. So this post in 2015 was regarding understanding your RRSPs. So I released this post in February, and the reason I released it in February of 2018 was to actually get people ready for the RRSP deadline, which is usually the beginning of March. So what is the RRSP for? The RRSP for is obviously for retirement. Like, we have it for retirement. So saving for your retirement. Registered Retirement Savings Plan. Now, the RRSP is still the most popular retirement savings vehicle in Canada. If you're in America, mind you, it's your 401k or your IRA, so just substitute those words. Registered Retirement Savings Plan, RRSP. So a lot of people got into the RRSP. Is originally formed for self-employed people to save for their retirement, because a lot of people who had 9-to-5 jobs or regular jobs were on pensions. Now that that's shifted and pensions are sort of slowly whittling away, people have RRSPs, and the average person is saving in their RRSP. There was a big push for RRSPs at the end of the 80s. Thank you. Love the shirt too. But there was a big push for RRSPs at the late 80s, mid 90s, and everyone was getting RRSPs because they have added benefits within them. So you can save for your future, but also save immediately with tax purposes, and that's the cool thing. Let's get into the real nitty-gritty basics of an RRSP. How much can you contribute to your RRSP? So anyone who files an income tax return can contribute to an RRSP. You have to be 18 years or older. There are limits to what you can contribute. 18% of your earned income. So 18% of your earned income. If you make $50,000, that's a $9,000 maximum contribution. If you make $100,000, that's $18,000. There's a limit on how much you can dump in, though. For 2017, when this poster was released, $26,010 was the limit. Now it's gone up since then. It changes every year, but that's shown on your tax return or your notice of assessment from the government of Canada. So 18% of your earned income. The reason why there's a limit is to stop rich people from dumping huge amounts of money into RRSP and getting massive tax deductions because of it. So that's why there's a limit. It's the same thing with the tax-free savings account, why there's a limit on that. Okay, so government puts that limit 26,000. So if you make around about 150,000 or so, you are at the limit of the RRSP contribution rate. So what happens to the money in the account? So the RRSP is like your tax-free savings account. It's an investment vehicle. So it holds investments of your choice. What you can put in your RRSP, cash, GICs, savings bonds, treasury bills, which aren't that popular anymore. I don't even know if they sell them anymore, to be totally honest. Bonds, mutual funds, which is I am actually a fan of, but they have to be RRSP eligible ones. ETFs, equities, so that's stocks. Canadian mortgages, mortgage-backed securities, and income trusts. The most popular ones are index funds, ETFs, mutual funds, GICs, and bonds. So having your RRSP in more of these investments can make it grow over time. So in my opinion, I think being spread out and well diversified when you're RRSP, if you have a longer timeline, is a great way to do it so you can weather financial storms like the one we're dealing with currently. So the tax implications. So this is where the RRSP becomes super sexy. RRSP, if you put money into your RRSP, so let's just say you make $50,000 a year. $9,000 would be your annual limit. You are taxed on $50,000, so that you're going to pay X amount in tax. If you put $9,000 into your RRSP, you lower your taxable income to $41,000. That means you're only paying tax on $41,000. That means there's savings. And given that our tax brackets are our tax brackets actually cut off around the $42,000 mark, it drops you below a tax bracket. So that actually gives you substantial savings. And that's where when you give to your RRSP, you put money in your RRSP, you have opportunity for substantial savings because every dollar in our tiered tax bracket system, you are paying more tax on that next dollar. So for instance, I have to look it up, but 42,000 roughly was the next tier for tax bracket. Every dollar over that is taxed at a different level, a higher level. So that's why bringing it below the $42,000 mark is a great idea. Okay, so I'll give an example here. $50,000, 18%, the maximum you can do is $9,000. That will lower you down to $41,000 in taxable income, which gives you immediate savings. Tax sheltered growth, so the money within the RRSP that you have invested is tax sheltered, so it can grow and you're not paying capital gains on that on an annual basis. Tax deferral. Now, the one thing about the RRSP that people don't understand, or it often catches them by surprise, is that you do pay tax eventually on it. So that's why it's a little bit different than the tax-free savings account. Take your money out, you're going to be paying tax. So you need to be cognizant of that. For people who are actually on defined benefit pension plans, so this is your traditional old school pension plan where they're giving you money on a monthly basis for your pension, RRSP may or may not be the right solution for you because in retirement you could be making quite a bit of money. You could be making $60, $70, $80, $90,000 a year in retirement, and if you're withdrawing from your RRSP, that's going to bump you up. So I want people to completely understand the implications. That's why I always mention tax-free savings account first. You cannot go wrong by putting money in there. You do not get the tax deduction though. So the three key features that make the RRSP very attractive to those wishing to save for the future and receive benefits now. Or these are the three features, I'm sorry. So tax deferral, tax sheltered growth, and tax deductible contributions. Okay, so that is the key to it. So an overview. I believe everyone should have an RRSP. It just depends on when is the right time for opening. That's why putting money into the tax-free savings account first is not a idea because you could transfer it from your tax-free savings account into an RSP at any given time and gain that deduction for the year. So you get your immediate tax savings in the form of annual deductions. The growth is saved from taxes as well. So as your investment grows, you're not paying taxes on that. Taxes paid at a lower rate, hopefully, when you withdraw. If you earn a lot of income in retirement, that could be something to look at in terms of your RSP. And it helps you save and plan for your future. So to me, point number 4 is the most important. You're putting money away. You're getting an added benefit of that tax deduction on an annual basis, but then you're also planning and saving for your retirement, which to me is an admirable goal. So I'm going to have this post tagged in the description of this video. I also have a post here I'm going to be sharing as well, ways to maximize your RSP, and I'm going to briefly go over this to show you what it looks like. So number 1, pay yourself first or pay your RSP first. So having regular contributions on your RSP, even at a time like this, especially at a time like this when the markets are down, you are dollar cost averaging your money into the market. So for instance, if markets are down 20%, is which roughly what they are down right now, you are getting things at a 20% discount. You're getting your funds at a 20% discount. So let's say, for instance, they sold for $10 and now you're buying them for $8. That means you save $2 per unit. So every unit you buy is now $8. Now, when they go back up to 10, you've bought more units. So that's what dollar cost averaging is. You're buying things on sale. And when you're buying them low, you're winning. And then when they go back up, you win even more. So that's why it's a good time to enter the broader market right now, because you're buying everything at a discount. And when it goes higher, you win. So pay yourself first, pay your RSP first. Regular contributions, you can have them payroll deducted, coming out of your bank account on a weekly, bi-weekly, monthly basis. And you don't have to wait for RSP time in the new year. Utilize your tax-free savings account. So if you want to gauge, you could utilize your tax-free savings account in an interesting way. If you want to gauge how much money to put in your RSP to maximize your deduction, over the course of a year, you could put it in your tax-free savings account and then just transfer it at tax time to your RSP. So you can invest your money in your tax-free savings account, transfer it into your RSP at tax time, and then go about it that way, and then gauge what kind of deduction you're going to get. The best way to go about that is to talk to your investment advisor and also talk to your accountant, because they will help you at tax time to understand what your tax implications are for your RSP contribution to maximize the return you get. The next one is take advantage of unused contribution room. So if you got late to the game, you still have contribution room that you have not utilized yet. Now, I know I have quite a bit of contribution room because I haven't deposited as much into my RSP as I would like. I've been using my tax-free savings account. So I would suggest taking advantage of unused contribution room. That will show on your notice of assessment on an annual basis how much unused contribution room you have. Start as early as possible. Now, it's hard when you're later in the game. You can't go back in time, but you can start. And if you're younger, get going right away. If you get going on an RSP, I have a client of mine, a friend of mine, that has been putting into her RSP since she was 18 years old, and she has well over $100,000 in there. That, to me, is very impressive. So get going as early as possible on your RSP. I give an example here, $25,000 invested for 30 years with 7% compound interest rate of return. So $25,000, and that's with no additional contributions. All right, no additional contributions. So $25,000 just sitting for 30 years, sitting with no extra money added, adds up to over $202,000 with 7% interest over 30 years. That $25,000 for 40 years almost doubles for 10 extra years, and that's the beauty of compound. Very, very cool thing. Just money sitting for an additional 10 years gets you an extra $205,000, and it doubles. Understand the tax implications upon withdrawal. So again, I want you to understand when you take money out of your RSP later in life, you will pay tax on that. So know what those are. Sit down with your investment advisor. If you want someone to talk to about that, shoot me a message and we can understand that as well. So I'm also going to attach here how to retire relevant step 5, investing. That's my post on my relevant retirement system. And also, this is a real cool one. So this is a tax calculator that I use on a regular basis. It's from SimpleTax.ca. You can put your employment income. So I'm going to magnify this a little bit so we can see it. Okay, so we are in the province of Ontario. If you make $50,000 a year, your taxes on the year, your total tax is going to be $11,000. Now I'll show you that right here. I'll highlight it. Your total tax, $11,021. Now, $11,021, if you put money into an RSP, if you maximize it, your tax return, you will be paying $8,600. So you are going to save roughly $2,400 in taxes just simply by contributing to your RSP. That's $2,400 that you could get on an annual basis in the form of a tax return. You can go take a trip on that. You can go actually reinvest it, whatever you like to do. I would recommend reinvesting it and saving up for your trips on your own. But yes, look at that. That's amazing savings. $2,400 of tax money you get back right now. Pretty cool. Now let's kick it up a notch. Let's say you make $100,000 and you contribute the maximum 18%, which is $18,000. So without it, $100,000, you're going to pay $27,000 in tax. $27,000. That's a lot. $27,500 to be exact. If you put $18,000 in, you're going to pay $21,000. So you're saving $6,500. So of that $18,000, $6,000 of it essentially was free money, money that you paid in tax that you now got back. That's an amazing thing. And it doesn't even have to be a situation where you are putting the maximum. If you make, say, playing around with this calculator, honestly, I love playing around with this calculator. It's really cool. But let's say you put $6,000 or $60,000 a year as your income, and you're only able to put, say, $3,500 into your RSP. So $60,000, you're going to pay $14,000 in tax. Put money into your RSP, and you're going to save another $1,000 in tax just from putting $3,500 in. So of that $3,500 is savings, in fact. So that's why this calculator is super cool. I'm also going to attach a calculator here from Get Smarter About Money. I love this one. It's really, really awesome. So let's take a look. If you have 7% compound interest and you're contributing bi-weekly, I'm 35 years old, so I'm using my age, $100 bi-weekly with 7% annual interest. The numbers of years to retirement, age 65, so that's 30 years in retirement. Estimated years in retirement, 30 years in retirement, so that'd be from age 65 to 95, 3% rate of return during retirement on your capital. You're going to have over $266,000 in retirement savings, and you can provide yourself with $13,500 in income. Now, that's not much money when you think about it, but I'm also only contributing $100 bi-weekly. Also, that $13,000 can be added to government income programs such as Canadian Pension Plan and Old Age Security, CPP and Old AS, to give yourself a decent income during retirement. So you add that $13,000 plus the other $21,000 plus money from a tax-free savings account. Now you're looking at a decent retirement where you're actually having a decent life. If you kick it up a notch, obviously if you put double, you will have double. So $532,000 instead in retirement. If you put $200 bi-weekly, and that'll provide you with $27,000 in annual income. That is pretty cool. Now, if you get super uber aggressive and you start putting $300 bi-weekly, that to me is pretty awesome. You can provide yourself with a $40,000 income in retirement with over $800,000. And when you hit that threshold, that is the time where your income can last you a long time and even give you money to last you for life and even leave a legacy if that is your choice. So that is my spiel about retirement, registered retirement savings plans, RRSPs. I want people to check out the post, check out the calculators. They're really cool. Also, of course, I want people, if you qualify, apparently it's April 6th where the online portal is going to be available to get your $2,000 a month over the course of the next 4 months. $2,000 can help you get through this crisis if you're laid off or if you're a worker who does not have work or you've been just let go because of the COVID crisis. So I want you to check out that. I'm going to be sharing this link through every post throughout the month just so people can get that going. Now, one thing I want to talk about before I go right now is the actual numbers being affected with the COVID crisis or the COVID-19 pandemic. 11,000. Now, these numbers aren't completely up to date. They're actually a little bit more right now. But as of early this morning, we're looking at over 11,000 cases in Ontario. And our fearless leader, Mr. Douglas Ford, is actually going to be talking about his projections on what's going to happen. If we look at Ontario, where I live, 3,200 cases. There's more now, obviously. 81 deaths. It's very, very troubling news and very, very grim prospects kicking right now. So we're looking at over 3,000 cases in Ontario, over 11,000 in general. Quebec has been hit very hard, with Montreal having over 2,000 cases. In America, they're getting crushed right now. There's over 250,000 cases at this point, I believe. It's a high, number's a little higher. The worldwide total is over 1.1 million now. This crisis is going to go on for a while. I want people to stay up to date and understand the seriousness of that. So for me, I don't think I don't put these numbers out to scare people, but I do want people to be alert and understand what's going to go on. I know a lot of people don't watch the news, and I know a lot of people don't get their news from sources like Facebook or whatnot. Please get your news from sources that are actually relevant sources, as opposed to ones that may or may not be giving you proper news or proper information regarding the outbreak. It's important to know these numbers. It's important to understand exactly how this is going to affect us. The reason being is because this isn't going away anytime soon. We need to stop the curve. We need to understand that the social distancing and the physical distancing guidelines are actually working right now, but we haven't hit. We're paying for the cost of 2 months or 2 weeks ago and 3 weeks ago, and then all the people repatriated back into our country that were overseas or on cruise ships or stuck in another country during this period of time. So we're paying for that right now, but we have to get over this, and we have to make sure that we understand the implications of going out in public and continuing to spread the disease. So what we need to do is continue to isolate. Does it suck? Yes, it does. Big time. I'm hating it. I'm not liking it. But what we need to do is understand that this is not going away anytime soon. If you look at the dark red all over the place here, countries like China, 80,000 cases, over 100,000 in Spain, Italy, 115. France is hit hard. The UK is hit hard. Germany's hit very, very hard as well. This is not going away anytime soon. But what we also need to understand is that if we do not stop the curve right now, we need to, we're going to be dealing with this longer than we should. I have a feeling that we know April's a write-off. I have a feeling that May is going to be a write-off as well. And I'm hoping that we can get out by the end of June. A stay-at-home order. We are actually being told to stay at home. We are not being forced to stay at home. What I believe is going to be implemented now is a order to not go out unless it's absolutely necessary. So emergency home order. So right now that's basically what we have, but then I think fines and tickets will start coming in for people who break this order, and I believe they started that in some provinces. I believe in BC they started that. I believe Ontario will probably start that soon, and why not? Let's get this going. Let's make sure that we understand the seriousness of this, and I want this to end as soon as possible. I want us to get back on the road to recovery. So keep abreast of this information, not to scare you, more to keep you alert, understand what's going on, to take the precautions needed. We're having huge unemployment right now. I believe over 1 million people file for unemployment. I believe it's 1 million. It's at least $500,000 file. 500,000 people file for unemployment. The numbers are changing constantly. So what we need to do is make sure that we're actually following the guidelines, and so we can get back to work as soon as possible. There's going to be a huge economic fallout from this afterwards, but we can't get to that point where the road to recovery until we just beat the virus first. Then we figure out the economy after, because right now the economy is just ground to a halt. Everyone for themselves, it seems, as Trump has ordered that 3M cannot ship their ventilators to Canada. So what I want people to understand is that we need to band together as Canadians to make sure that we're taking care of each other, because if we're not, it's going to be a huge, huge issue, and we're not actually handling it the right way. So contact me. There's several places. You can go on Facebook, shoot me a message on there if that's the case. All the links are actually going to be tagged at the bottom of this post here. Instagram's a great place as well. I'm obviously on IG Live right now answering questions for some people, and Twitter's another place as well. So these are platforms where you can actually get the links. Instagram, not so much, just because you can't have hot links on there, but my Facebook link is in my Instagram bio, and of course all the videos are going to be on YouTube on a daily basis. You can go there there and check them out over the course of the days that pass by. 20 more videos coming over the course of April. And again, we're on lockdown all throughout April. If you want to contact me directly or get on the email list, go to budgetboss.ca/contact, and there we can talk about RSPs, investments, or financial planning in general. You can book a meeting with me if you'd like, over the phone, obviously, or live, web live, and make sure that you're actually keeping abreast and working on your finances during this period. So again, thanks for tuning in, guys. I want everyone to be safe, isolate, stay home. If you don't need to leave, you're very welcome. K14 Cash. If you got to go out, go out. Be cautious when you go, and then come back home. Help your neighbor if they can't go out or they are vulnerable. Make sure that they are not going out for their milk. Get their milk for them. Help them out, but be safe and make sure you're not bringing the virus back to them. Make sure you sanitize and clean everything. This is just what we're dealing with right now. It's our new reality, so there's no point in acting like it's not like this. There's no point in acting like things are normal. They're not normal, but we can actually beat this if we take the precautions to make sure we're living life the right way and making sure that we're not spreading this virus to the people we love and everyone else. So have yourself a great weekend, guys. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. Peace.